US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has arrived in Ukraine. This is a two-day trip. Blinken is likely to announce a new assistance package for Ukraine worth more than $1 billion. US Secretary of State is set to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. Russia has carried out airstrikes on Kyiv and Odessa. This is as per Ukraine's military. A civilian has been killed and the strikes caused fire and damaged a Danube river port. Ukraine operates several river ports on the Danube. Reni and Izmail ports have been previously attacked by Russian drones. Romania's president has said that attacks in neighboring Ukraine happened very close to Romania's border. This comes as Russia repeatedly launches drone strikes on infrastructure on the Danube River in southern Ukraine. On Monday, Romania's foreign minister denied reports of Romanian territory being hit by Russian drones. Ukraine claims that Russian drones fell and detonated on the territory of Romania. Russian President Vladimir Putin gave a television interview on Tuesday. He accused the Western nations of installing Volodymyr Zelensky, who is Jewish, as president of Ukraine to cover up the glorification of Nazism. Russia has accused leaders in Kyiv of being neo-Nazis. In the past, Zelensky has said that some of his grandfather's brothers were killed in the Holocaust. He has repeatedly dismissed Russia's accusations. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has said that North Korea will pay a price for supplying Russia with weapons to use in Ukraine. On Tuesday, reports surfaced that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will visit the Russian city of Vladivostok to meet Vladimir Putin. Kim and Putin are likely to discuss the supply of weapons, and in July this year, Russian Defense Minister Sergey visited Pyongyang. Kim showed him his banned ballistic missiles in an elaborate weapon display. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov has arrived in Indonesia to attend the 43rd ASEAN Summit. Lavrov will be attending meetings on behalf of Russian President Vladimir Putin. US President Joe Biden won't be attending the summit either, and his Vice President Kamala Harris is attending instead. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has spoken about Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping's decision to skip the G20 summit that New Delhi is hosting this week. Jaishankar said, and I quote, "Their decision has nothing to do with India. Whatever the decision they make, they know best." He also said that G20 is a collaborative forum and not a platform for power politics. Jaishankar added that India has special responsibility in the changing world scenario. India's capital New Delhi is gearing up for the G20 summit. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu is the first head of state to arrive in India. This is his first visit to India since he took office in May 2023. Tinubu will deliver keynote address at the Nigeria-India Presidential Roundtable and the Nigeria-India Business Conference on the sidelines of the G20 summit. A former leader of America's right-wing group Proud Boys has been sentenced to 22 years in prison. Enrique Tarrio will be behind bars for his role in the January 6 US Capitol Hill riots in 2021. This is the longest sentence that has been announced in the case so far. Prosecutors say that the 39-year-old Tarrio helped direct the attack from the city of Baltimore. More than 1,000 people have been arrested on charges related to Capitol riot. Papua New Guinea has opened its embassy in Jerusalem. Apart from Papua New Guinea, only 4 other nations have their embassies there. This includes the United States, Kosovo, Guatemala, and Honduras. Most countries have their diplomatic representation in Israel, in the city of Tel Aviv. Moving to climate, African leaders called for changes to what they say is an unfair international climate finance system. This was during the Africa Climate Summit. Africa is suffering from some of the most severe impacts of climate change. However, it only receives about 12% of the financing it needs to cope with the extreme weather. Millions of dollars for investment in sustainable development projects have been announced during the climate summit. African officials have welcomed the investments but called for a bigger transformation. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antony Guterres called on developed nations to take responsibility. This is for their role in rising global temperatures that have caused the climate crisis. The climate crisis has resulted in extreme weather conditions in Africa and other places. Guterres also called for an end to the use of fossil fuels. London sweltered on Tuesday. Temperatures went up to 31 degrees Celsius. The UK's weather department said that the average mean temperature during the summer was 15.4 degrees Celsius. That's around 0.8 or 0.8 degrees Celsius warmer than average. The current heatwave in the UK follows periods of rain throughout July and August. A storm has battered parts of Greece. A man died after a wall collapsed in the bad weather. Torrential rains have flooded homes, businesses and roads. Strong water currents dragged away vehicles in the flooded country. The floods come shortly after Greece was ravaged by wildfires. In Bulgaria, 2 people were killed after torrential rains brought floods. Footage showed trailers and cars in the sea after being washed away by swollen rivers. A state of emergency has been declared in parts of Bulgaria. An extratropical cyclone has been battering southern Brazil. Officials say that the number of deaths in the region has gone up to 21. The cyclone has flooded homes and left rivers swollen. Video showed houses submerged by rising water, while streets and rivers were also flooded. Deforestation in Brazil's Amazon fell by 66% in August. This is its lowest level for the month since 2018. Deforestation in the Amazon has caused the loss of many species and their habitats. It has also led to an increase in carbon dioxide emissions. Brazil's President Lula da Silva has promised to end deforestation in the region by 2030. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz condemned protests staged by Greenpeace activists as quote-unquote irritating. This was at Munich's IAA car show. The Chancellor's tour of the car show was interrupted twice by protesters. They, as in the protesters, climbed on top of some BMW cars holding signs and shouting slogans. The activists were demanding additional investment in public transportation and green initiatives. The United Nations is warning against sand dredging. Dredging is the practice of removing silt and other materials from the bottom of water bodies. The UN says 6 billion tons of marine sand are being dug up each year. The UN says this could wipe out marine life. An Egyptian company has developed a biofertilizer using the black soldier fly. The insect is capable of consuming large quantities of organic residue and waste. This helps reduce carbon emissions, and its excretions can also be used as fertilizers. This is an alternative to chemical fertilizers, and it can also protect the environment. In business and tech news, China has reportedly banned central government officials from using iPhones for work. Employees also won't be allowed to bring them into office. The order comes over alleged risks to China's national security. If confirmed, the move will mark another escalation of US-China tensions. Semiconductor company ARM has begun the marketing for its initial public offering or IPO. It is seeking a valuation of more than $52 billion. This is according to a new regulatory filing. ARM's IPO is expected to be the biggest of this year. It will start trading on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange on the 14th of September. Goldman Sachs has lowered its probability of a US recession in the next 12 months. It now sees a 15% chance of an incoming recession. This is a decrease from a previous estimate of 20%. The bank said that this was due to continued positive inflation and positive labour market data. MasterCard has denied a media report that said it was planning to increase its credit card fees. Last week, a report said that MasterCard is planning to increase their interchange fee. An interchange fee is the charge a merchant pays to the card issuing bank every time a consumer swipes their card. The report added that the fee changes were due to take effect from October. Now, MasterCard says that it will not happen. Toyota says a server malfunction caused the shutdown of its Japanese assembly plants last week. The error was due to insufficient disk space on some of its servers. The issue occurred following regular maintenance work on servers, and Toyota has reiterated that the shutdown was not due to a cyber attack. Reports say Tesla Shanghai is suing Blinken Intelligent Technology. It is a China-based chip designer and auto parts maker. Tesla has accused Blinken of tech secret infringement and unfair competition disputes. The case will be heard in the Shanghai Intellectual Property Court on the 10th of October. Google has tentatively reached a settlement in a lawsuit in the US. The suit accuses Google's Play Store of violating federal antitrust rules. It allegedly overcharged its customers on the Play Store. They blamed Google for abusing its dominant market position. Meta Platforms has said it will discontinue the Facebook News feature on its social media app. This is in the UK, France and Germany. It will be effective later this year. Meta says users will still be able to view links to news articles. It added that European news publishers will also continue to have access to their Facebook accounts and pages. However, Facebook will not form new commercial deals for news content on Facebook News. Malaysia is considering new rules for internet giants like Google and Meta Platforms. The country could ask them to compensate news outlets. This is for carrying content from their outlets on their platform. And Malaysia is in discussions with Google, Meta and other major online platforms over the regulatory framework. TikTok has hired British cybersecurity firm NCC to audit its data controls and protections. This is a part of the social media company's data security regime. It has been nicknamed Project Clover. As part of this regime, TikTok is also opening 3 data centers. 2 of these will be in Ireland and 1 in Norway. They will store the data of European and British users in Europe. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. Former Sri Lankan spinner Sachitra Senanayake has been arrested. He is accused of being involved in match fixing of the 2020 edition of the Lanka Premier League. Senanayake has surrendered this morning. The 38-year-old allegedly enticed 2 players to fix matches. Sri Lanka beat Afghanistan by 2 runs in the Asia Cup match yesterday. With this, they have also booked a spot for the Super 4 stage of the tournament. Sri Lanka won the toss and chose to bat first. Afghanistan were chasing a target of 292. However, they were bowled out for 289 in 37.4 overs. Australia have announced their 15-member squad for the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. They had previously named 18 players last month, but have brought it down to 15 now. All-rounder Aaron Hardy, pacer Nathan Ellis and spinner Tanveer Sangha were excluded from the list. Marnus Labuschagne is also not in Australia's World Cup squad. Meanwhile, Pat Cummins will continue to lead the side. In football, the Spanish Football Federation has chosen the first ever female coach for the women's team. Montatom will be now managing the women's squad, who will replace Jorge Vilda, who was fired recently. Vilda was sacked amid the ongoing kissing row that started after the country's football chief kissed a player at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Arsenal winger Bukayo Saka has been named England's Men's Player of the Year again. The 22-year-old clung on to the award he had won in 2021-2022. Saka made his debut in 2020 and has scored 7 goals for England in 10 games over the past year. Midfielder Jude Bellingham came second, while striker Harry Kane was third. Bolivia's Football Federation cancelled 2 top tournaments on Tuesday. This comes amidst investigations into alleged match fixing and corruption. The announcement came after a meeting was held with several clubs and delegates from various football associations. Bolivia's Football Federation filed a criminal complaint on Monday. It has accused players, referees, and officials for being involved in illegal betting, bribery, and match rigging. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic is through to the US Open semi-final. The 36-year-old Serbian beat Taylor Fritz 6-1, 6-4 and 6-4 on Tuesday. Djokovic is now eyeing his record 24th Grand Slam title. Next up for him is American Ben Shelton. Meanwhile, 19-year-old Coco Gauff continued her relentless victories at the US Open. Gauff beat Latvia's Jelena Ostapenko in the quarters. She triumphed over the Latvian 6-0 and 6-2 in straight sets. Gauff is now the youngest player to reach the US Open semis since 2001. Karolina Muchova also progressed to the semi-final at the US Open. The Czech player defeated Romania's Sorana Sristia 6-0, 6-3 on Tuesday. Muchova's opponent in the semi-final will be Coco Gauff. Indian athletes attended a send-off ceremony ahead of the upcoming Asian Games. India Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said, and I quote, "We will ensure historic performances and return with the best medal count. I urge the country to stand behind our athletes and cheer for them." During the ceremony, the official outfits and playing kits were unveiled for the Indian contingent. India returned with 60 medals in the last edition of the Asian Games. The multi-nation event kicks off on the 23rd of September. Moving to entertainment, Skydance Media CEO David Ellison has opened up on the ongoing Hollywood actors and writers strike. Ellison said that both sides need one another to move forward. He also said that he hopes that path to compromise can be found so that everybody can get back to work. Hollywood writers began the strike in May, and they are calling for higher pay and the regulation of the use of artificial intelligence in Hollywood. Singer Joe Jonas has filed for divorce from actor Sophie Turner after 4 years of marriage. Jonas reportedly filed for a dissolution of marriage on Tuesday in the US state of Florida. He claimed that the marriage between the parties is irretrievably broken. Jonas and Turner got married in 2019 and have 2 children together. Joe Jonas is famous for being in the band The Jonas Brothers. Sophie Turner, meanwhile, rose to fame because of her role in the series Game of Thrones. Actor Helen Mirren has spoken about her decision to not have children. In an interview, Mirren said, and I quote, "I never had a moment of regret about not having children." Mirren got married to director Taylor Hackford in 1997. The couple had met in 1985 while they were working on the musical drama White Nights. French actor Emmanuel Bert has revealed that she had to endure years of sexual abuse during her childhood. The 60-year-old has spoken about her traumatizing experiences in her upcoming documentary called Such a Resounding Silence. The actor says that her abuse began when she was just 10 years old and it continued for 4 years. Singer Miley Cyrus has revealed that she did not make a dime during her 2014 Bangers tour. Cyrus said, and I quote, "There is no one I would rather invest in than myself. So I paid for it all to make it exactly what I thought and the fans deserved." 2014's Bangers tour was Miley Cyrus's 4th concert tour, which included 79 shows over 9 months. Actor and rapper Sean Diddy Combs will be honored with the Global Icon Award at this year's Video Music Awards. Diddy is also nominated for 4 other awards this year. Artists who are set to perform at this year's VMAs include Doja Cat, Demi Lovato, and Tomorrow X Tomorrow. K-pop band BTS's member V is all set for the release of his debut solo album called Layover. In an interview, V revealed that he shot one of his songs at his bandmate Jungkook's house. V and Jungkook are the youngest members of BTS and are reportedly close friends. Rock band Queen's late singer Freddie Mercury's iconic piano is set to be auctioned. Mercury got the piano in the year 1975 after a reported extensive search for what he described as his perfect piano. This piano played a major role in the making of the legendary singer's famous songs, including Bohemian Rhapsody. Late singer-songwriter Jimmy Buffett's sister has revealed that they both were diagnosed with cancer around the same time. Laurie Buffett McGuane said, and I quote, "Jimmy and I became closer because of our cancers. We talked before and after our scans, and we also shared a club that nobody wants to join, and I am thunderstruck that Jimmy did not make it." Jimmy Buffett died earlier this week because of a rare skin cancer. He was 76 years old. Actor Marcia de Ros has died at the age of 70. She was known for playing the role of Dr. Patricia Ludwig in the HBO series True Blood. De Ros was dealing with an illness for a long time, and her career in the entertainment industry began with her debut in 1981 with the movie Under the Rainbow.